everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be showing you what's on my most favorite device, the iPad. So I have the Space Gray 2018 iPad Pro in the 64GB size. The lock screen is one that I created. I keep all of my apps on the first page, and my home screen is a pattern that I actually got for free from a pattern designer on Creative Market, and I really like having my widgets here on the side. So I have the Apple Calendar that comes with the iPad, as well as the Photos app, which I use quite extensively for saving digital stickers and Instagram posts and everything. I have Contacts, which I don't really use on my iPad, and then FaceTime. Apple Maps, of course. I have the Reminders app, which I don't use very often, if at all. I have the Notes app, and then I have a folder called Utilities, where I have the clock app stored, and then the News app, the Find My app, voice memos, as well as stocks, and the Measuring app, the Shortcuts app. And then I have the HP Print app, which I can check my ink levels or set my documents to. I also have the Zen Flip Clock app, which mimics the screensaver on the computer. That's pretty popular. Then I just have the iTunes Store and the App Store, the Pages app, and Keynote, which, as you may know, I use extensively to create digital planners and notebooks and templates. Then I have iMovie on here, but I edit videos for YouTube using Final Cut Pro 10 on my iMac. I mainly use iMovie for editing IGTVs. I obviously have the camera app and then YouTube, so I'll use this time as a shameless self-promo. I have tons of digital planning and creative tutorials that you can check out, so please subscribe for videos every week from me. And then I have Google Drive, which I use to store a lot of my small business documents as well as personal files for university and class assignments. Then I have Google Keep, which basically acts as a clipboard, so I have a bunch of random links for MCAT prep saved, a few recipes, and other just totally random things. Then I have Dropbox, which I use also to save a lot of small business files. Then I have this app called Notion, which I've gotten a lot of questions on. If you're interested in seeing more videos about Notion, comment that down below. I use Notion a lot to organize kind of life maintenance tasks, so I use it for taking notes for my EMT training. I have MCAT and medical school preparation files on here, as well as some workouts, YouTube stuff, small business stuff. It's really versatile, so they have a lot of templates that you can use for Notion, so go check that out if you aren't already using Notion. Moving into the bulk of what's on my iPad, I have the entertainment folder where I have the Facebook app. Feel free to like my shop on Facebook and join our digital planning group if you're into that. I also have the Messenger app and Pinterest. Feel free to follow me on Pinterest for digital planning and design inspo as well. Then I have Netflix, which I don't really use as much on my iPad. I really enjoy watching Criminal Minds and Parks and Rec, The Good Place. I have Hulu as well, where I like watching The Good Doctor, Handmaid's Tale, and Full House, the older version. I also have Amazon for obvious reasons. Then I have this app called Libby, which basically works with your local library to allow you to place holds on books, borrow books online, and just all kinds of stuff. Then I have this game that I downloaded in quarantine. I used to play this on Facebook in like 2009 or something, but you basically run your own little restaurant. You cook food, visit other people's restaurants, and leave tips. It's pretty cute, and I'm quite frankly obsessed with growing my little restaurant. Then I have an Edu folder where I store all of my apps for school. I have GoodNotes 4, but I only use GoodNotes 5 since they're phasing out GoodNotes 4. I use this to take notes for classes, digitally plan, and annotate my readings for lecture. Just all kinds of things. I have Piazza, which a lot of my classes use as basically an anonymous Q&A. I have the Pearson eText app, which is for my textbooks that are online. Then I have Power Planner, which is great for college students. I use this to plan out my semester and basically is a grade book. I have Microsoft Word and PowerPoint, which I use to open up files from my professors. And with the Magic Keyboard, using these programs feels almost exactly like their functionality on the computer itself. I also have Google Docs and Sheets for those same reasons. Then I have Poll Everywhere, which is a polling software my professors often use. I have Khan Academy, which I haven't used in quite a while, but I used it a lot whenever I took differential equations. Then I have Quizlet, which I have used for a long time. It was really helpful, especially for my EMT training for the drugs, as well as some other classes that relied more on my memory and recall versus actual application. Then I have Slater, which gives you step-by-step solutions to some textbook problems. This was really helpful for my PChem class when the guide just gave an answer but not really any steps onto how it was solved. I have Symbolab, which also gives step-by-step solutions, and I used it a lot in differential equations when it was really easy to get lost in a problem, but I've completed all my math requirements, so I haven't used it in a while. Then I have the Kaplan app, which has extra practice problems and resources for MCAT prep. Then I have this app called Epocrates at the suggestion of my EMT instructors, so you can look up different medications and even take pictures of a pill in an attempt to identify the medication, and just has a lot of really helpful stuff when you're out in the field. Then I have this app called Otter, which records audio and transcribes it. So I use this a lot in my anatomy lecture because I'm a very visual person, so having this transcript meant a lot to me versus just listening to the recording. Then I have Noteshelf, which is another great note-taking and digitally planning alternative if you're interested in those. So then I have AnyBuffer, which serves as kind of another clipboard app. It's really helpful whenever you're writing research papers because then you can have a board of your most important quotes or pictures or data. You can also import these things as well. Then I have Zoom for obvious reasons at this point. I also have Power Thesaurus, which is a crowdsourced app. It gives you more creative options, in my opinion, as far as the word goes, and does way more than just search for its synonyms. Moving into this folder that I have named Biz after my small business, I have the Etsy app where I use to shop handmade things and support other small businesses. I also have the Etsy seller app to run my shop and answer your questions, check on analytics. I have Procreate, which I have used extensively, probably my most used app. I draw stickers and graphics and literally just all kinds of things. Just an amazing, amazing app. I have Skillshare, which I don't really use as much on my iPad, but I loved watching Procreate and editing tutorials using Skillshare. Then I have this app called Over, which is a great app for graphic design in general. It has a lot of templates for like Instagram or Facebook stories and stuff, and it has a lot of different elements that you can use to create anything you need or want to come up with. I use it mostly to create my Etsy listing photos and a few thumbnails for YouTube. I also have this app called Hootsuite, which I used to use to plan my Instagram and Facebook posts, but I haven't used it in a long time. Then I have Magic Eraser, which allows you to create transparent backgrounds on things that don't already have the transparent background. You'll just click wherever you need transparent background. They also have a restore tool. Then I have the app called iFont, which is what I use to download custom fonts to my iPad. I have a tutorial on that if you want to do that for yourself as well. Then I have Pixar, which is a photo editor. I used to use it a lot for Instagram, but not so much now, but it has a lot of cool features. Then I have this really cool app called Coolers, which I use often for color palette inspo. It generates colors that work really well together, and you can lock the colors that you want to keep. And you can export these palettes directly to Procreate or as an SVG, which means a lot to designers in general. Then I have this app called Fonto, which is a super basic app that allows you to add text and a few other elements to photos and stuff. I used to use it for thumbnails, but haven't in a while. Then I have Affinity Designer, which is a great Adobe Illustrator alternative. Still dabbling in vectors and vector work, so I haven't quite used it to its potential yet. Then I have YouTube Studio to check on analytics of my videos and respond to you guys. And yeah. And then I have Adobe Lightroom, which I use to edit Instagram photos and thumbnails. Then I have Adobe Photoshop, which I use pretty often for some of my digital planners or mock-ups. Next, I have Unsplash, which is a great place for stock-like high-resolution photos that are free, so they don't require a commercial license or anything. Similarly, I have Pexels, which is the exact same thing, except Pexels also has videos. Then I have this app called Magic Links to create affiliate links so you all can support me further, but I haven't specifically created any links with them directly yet. And then finally, we have my dock of the iPad where I have the settings app. I obviously have Safari, which I like using on my iPad, but I mainly use Google Chrome on my MacBook and iMac, but I have it here as well whenever I need it on my iPad. Then I have the Outlook app, which contains my personal and school email, messages that I don't really use. The Files app, where I store a ton more small business files. I have Google Calendar, where I mainly put stuff in that I want to get a notification for, like an assignment, deadline, or subscription cancellation, and just other stuff like that. Then I have the Microsoft To Do app, which I used a little bit for classes and other personal things, but honestly, it just serves better as a grocery list for me. And that's everything I have on my iPad. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Be your guide. Don't stop looking in my